This is the group that has said, theoretically, that you've said you're all in and you're excited and you want to go and be part of the inner team that makes this all happen. And so I value that, and I really appreciate that you guys have made that commitment. I know a lot of you are grandfathered in, but I think you're still totally on board, right? Okay. All right, let's pray. God, thank you for this content, and I give you all of it. We want to walk in your plan. Even as the sermon said, we just want to take the next step of faith forward. Help us to do that. Bring us many more to discover you and know you at this church. Help us build the tools to do it. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so I'm going to work through a PowerPoint, and there will be 3 points in it where you can ask questions. So this is your members, your partners, you're totally open to ask questions. Preferably not off the wall, out of the blue, but maybe on the subject matter questions. That would be awesome. So we'll work through it. Here we go. So Vision 2022, I believe, are starting. I don't have notes, so you're going to have to be one step ahead of me. Yeah, that's what I thought. Vision frame. So this was a huge part of this year, building our vision frame. And the vision frame, the idea is the frame is framing the picture of who we are. And the way I usually think of it is you have a 10-year picture you're sort of thinking through, and how we're going to get there is the frame around it, the mission, the core values, the strategies, and then how we're going to measure those strategies. Lots of people, I should say churches, are good at coming up with a mission and core values, and then they put banners up. That's usually the end of it. It's the strategies and the measurements that actually get you to the finish line. So I just want you to know that we are thinking all the way through the finish line. I love this stuff. I know not everyone gets into it, but it's a joy just to, all right, what are we going to look like 10 years from now? And then start working back from it in 5 years, 3 years, and then we do quarterly rocks. The rocks are, you got to put the big rocks in first. It's an old illustration. I think I've even used it in a sermon. But you got to put the big rocks in first. Otherwise, the sand and the water, which are like the emails and the phone calls, will get in the way of the big rocks being accomplished. Well, you can't get the big rocks quarterly if you don't know where you're going for the year. And you can't get to where you want to go in a year if you don't know where you're going 3 years. And you can't really get to the 3-year goal if you don't know where you're trying to get for 10 years. And so that's kind of how it works. It's all built on each other. Now, a pandemic can happen and everything shifts, but that's not normal. All right, what's our mission? Well, I've been preaching about it. So it's a church that empowers and equips people to engage our world with the love of Jesus. That will probably be up somewhere at some point, because I wanted to preach through it, do this meeting, let you guys see the core stuff, send a letter out tomorrow, which, by the way, you're going to get the letter too. Don't think I'm just hitting you twice, because I'm going to ask you for money at the end of this, so you know. I don't want you to think when you get that letter tomorrow or this week that we're just continuing to pound you. It's just that a lot of people probably aren't here. So the letter's going to go out, and we're going to be all about this. And then we're going to move on to the Christmas series and a new series. And so it won't be preached like it is being preached right now. Now the core values will come out. Those are empower, equip, engage. Oh man, Johnny Dew told me about that mistake. He totally pointed it out to me, and I still forgot to change it. That's my bad. Engage is not with 2 E's. Because I presented this to the staff, and he said, anyway, whatever. Let's move on. Strategies, I believe, is next. How we're going to get there. So we're going to do empowering Bible-based services. So that is the empower portion. Every week you come in here, you're going to get some kind of investment into you to empower you to be what Christ has called you to be in our world. Then the next step that people should be going to next is equipping. That's equipping through groups, some kind of small group. You're going in there, and our theory, our concept for small groups is you assemble, and then you apply what you're learning on Sundays, If you're using your own book, that I don't care about that, so I know that sometimes comes up. But normally you're applying what you're learning on Sunday, and then you act it out in how you respond in our world. So that's going to be our step 2 when it comes to equipping. And then we want to engage to disengage with urgency. That's the key word. Lots of people have missions programs, community outreaches, things like that. I just want our word that we kind of gravitate to is an urgency to it. This matters. It matters right now. We've got to be all in with this constantly. That's why we're doing everything that we're doing. How are we going to measure it? First, surveys. It sounds weird. I know it sounds weird, but most churches measure basically 3 things. How many butts in the seat, how many how much money is coming in, and how many people are in a life group. That's pretty much it. And I don't think that actually tells you a lot of information, because you don't know what people's income is. So, someone might be totally giving a lot, but it doesn't look like a lot. That's so what? It's the concept of giving that matters, not the amount. So why are we measuring that? And then butts in the seat. What if there's a pandemic? And all of a sudden you can't have them in the seats. If you haven't trained them in any capacity to actually be Christ in the community, what are you gaining by getting more and more people in the room? So I don't like that measurement. Life groups is a good one. I don't mind that one. So what we're going to do is measure a different way. Surveys, once a month, you'll get it when you walk in, and we're going to ask questions on the survey. How is your relationship with Christ advancing? What's the latest thing that you've learned from Christ? Who's the last person you shared Christ with? How are you using the tools you're learning here out in your community? Those are the kind of questions we're going to ask in these surveys, and then the staff will evaluate it and go, are we having the impact that we're supposed to be having? That's a measurement tool we'll use. So there'll be 12 of those next year. This will all start in January. Celebrations. So this is something that once a week we want to celebrate someone who made a step forward in their life. Right now we're not really doing much. Every once in a while I'll have a testimony, but we want to get to the point where every week you're hearing someone's celebration story where they did something in their community. They invited someone over for dinner and they got to share Christ. They invited someone to church. They became a Christian. All those celebrations working on that one. And then board operation updates. That's exactly what it sounds like. And then solar conference room remodel. I don't even know if you guys have even been up there, but the whole upper campus is being remodeled. So you have the conference room and the lobby looking a million times better. There was wallpaper and it was falling off the wall when I got here, and like weird stuff everywhere. The walls were like a foam green. It needed some work. When I first came, so Lisa and I walked around before you even knew me. There was a few things I noticed. One, every corner was a storage room. Every corner in every room was a storage room. That was one thing I noticed. Second thing was up there, it seemed like nothing had been done for like 20 or 30 years. This might be wrong. I'm just giving you my first impressions, okay? And then the nursery, I was like, you have to walk down this hall, and then you walk down another hall, and then you walk a third hallway, and they go into two rooms, and it was all very odd to me. So a lot of this is dealing with, all right, a first-time visitor with the eyes of a new person, what are they going to notice? You get used to it, but a first-time person notices stuff like this, and so that's some of the things we wanted to just hit right away. All right, knowing our three core values, we're basing Vision 2022 on the core values. So the first core value is empower our people. How do we want to empower our people? Well, first we want to make the campus attractive so that when they want to invite somebody back, they actually want to come back. And so just trying to beautify. Now, a lot of this has already been going on. A lot of investment's been going on into, is John here? Where's John? John has put so much work right there into this one. If you don't know, John is 24/7 fixing stuff on the campus, and before you can plant something, there actually has to be a working sprinkler, and anyway, things like that constantly. And so he's been working on that, as well as everything I just said in 2021, which, by the way, a lot was accomplished in 2021, right? That's pretty cool. But 2022, so we want to make it even more attractive. The dream here is like all the way from where the portables are. There's dirt that goes all the way around the campus, so almost like a walkway of sitting areas. And what's the 10 steps to the cross or 20 steps to the cross? What is that cross thing? Anybody know? Stations of the Cross. Like I'm not saying it's that's a Catholic thing, but I'm saying something like that where you can sit and pray and work through prayers, and it's just a beautiful place to invite, and people are going to want to walk the campus. And that beautiful black thing on the right, that is, what's that called, John? A holding tank. Also very beautiful, that we need to add to our attracting campus. That's kind of a necessity that's hit us because of a well issue. We need a place to store water, and so part of phase one is dealing with that, because is it like $15,000? It's not cheap. Yeah. So phase one, each step has a financial cost to it, and the phase one's of probably $20,000. And main issue is dealing with our water problem. I guess the well. This is John more than me. I shouldn't even be talking, but I think the well over there dried up, and so we have to use this one over here. But this one over here, the first tanks we have go to those things up there and shoot water down in an emergency. This is all high-tech talk, so sorry that I'm so high-tech. So what we need is another tank for actual just water. Was that close enough? Okay. So we're looking at like 20,000 there total for phase one. Also part of phase one, a new nursery remodel, and this is much more fun to talk about. This isn't an actual drawing of ours. This was me just grabbing stuff off the internet, but just making an attractive area, getting rid of about 3 walls, so we'll knock through the first, second, and third, and a fourth that goes into a weird caveat space. So 4 walls coming down, the whole space open, and then a little, what is this? Wow, woo, we're going in. Let's go in, sure. I like this. Going down the hallway. And it's, oh, stop there. Don't go any further. Can you pause it? I don't know what we're looking at right now. I know what we're looking at, but can you pause it? Is that possible? Yeah, right there. So you walk in, and so the parents, as they're dropping off their child, has a nice little place to actually sit there and check in and put their bags. Here's a little counter area. The bathroom is that door, but it already exists, but knocking all the walls that are in the way. And then they go in through the room, and the room's a little bigger because there was another wall knocked down. And so it's an actual nice area for kids. Yeah, it's great. It's beautiful. Look at that. So nice. That's going to be fantastic. My guess, we have initial bids, but it's probably a total of about $20,000, just so you know. So we're at 40 so far. Is there another phase with phase one? It's the other side. Yeah, the meeting room, right? Okay. So we go back to this side. The video has the other side on it too. This is so fun. So this is hot off the press. Thank you, by the way, you guys. There we go. Look at the right. Woo! There's the meeting room. So I need to explain what this is, but if the video is going to keep going, I'll wait. You paused it. Look at you. Okay, so what you're looking at there is that wall. And the concept with this, there's several. One is what happens in the week. Another is just a meeting place for a lot of our get-togethers throughout the week. But the main one for me is at the end of our services, we're having people raise their hand to accept Christ. And I have very little options at that point. We could tell them to come to these front corners. They could meet me in the back, which there isn't one. You know, there's so many spots where it really wouldn't work. So we really wanted a place to go. Meet us over here. The elders are going to be in there. There's on that wall, what you're looking at is the library moving into that area, so you can actually have books available. So you're talking with someone who's made a decision for Christ, and you have this space that's nice and actually conducive for that conversation. That is my main goal with this area over here. But there's also a lot of space for actual meetings, kids hanging out after school. It goes through the wall once it gets there, and there's an outside area as well to do a lot of fun stuff. Isn't this beautiful? It's so cool. All right. Okay. I think we got it. Okay, we got it. Thank you. You guys are awesome. That clap is for you. I don't know if you guys know. Rhiannon, you want to raise your hand? Lane, raise your hand. They have been working on these things, and the way they've been working on it is either John or I will say, here's what I'm thinking, and then they have to actually put it into some actual data, so thank you. Okay, so don't look at that one. That one's too complicated. But the idea is, on one side you have the nursery, on the second you have the meeting space. So much potential to empower people to really have engaging spaces, attractive campus, attractive spaces, before and after the service, interaction happening there. I can't give you numbers on that quite yet. We're not quite there. I can throw you a guess, but I'm not going to do that because you'll hold me to it. But that's somewhere next year. That's phase one. Phase two. This is phase two. That was all phase one. All right? For next year, we're going to get those things done. Phase two is every partner member in a life group, every member giving regularly, and every member serving in a ministry. Our goal next year, and this will come through sermons and a lot of just, asking and getting people involved, is that every person in our church that calls this like home, which I think that's kind of what membership partnership's all about, will actually want to serve with time, talent, and treasures. And so that's going to be next year, trying to make sure that everybody is engaged. So this is the equipping phase. Sorry. of these areas. So I think thank you. That's the way we're going to measure this, is monthly surveys, the celebration stories, and then monthly number updates of are people connecting? Are they getting involved in these things? All right, I'll go quicker. Phase 3. Phase 3 is kind of the dream level of if enough financial giving comes in, we'll get to the field. And that's what it's going to be based on. We're not just throwing out these things. It's if we can raise the money, if we can get there. The goal is on that side of the campus, fill that hole up with dirt, and it's not going to be grass, it's going to be artificial turf, and the desire is a football field size of artificial turf over there for community outreach and soccer and I say soccer. I don't know why I said soccer. Football, volleyball, whatever. Basically, community interacting here all the time. And when we have the Harvest Festival, you've got that space. And when we have all of our events, and there's so many cool events coming, that space is going to be so valuable. So if somebody's got a couple $100,000, please, that's what we'll do with it. So we need dirt. Yeah, if you have free dirt, drop it in that hole over there. This one will probably, unless you guys have are just going to go over and above, which I'm praying for that. But I do see someone giving a large gift towards this. If that's you, if you're in the room, let's go to lunch. Is there another one? Oh, missions. Yes. This missions is phase 3, but it's going to be happening. But we're working on the missions program, and we've been working constantly on this right now, reaching the disengaged and equipping to engage. So what the piece we're missing that next year, this is going to be a year process, but we're going to build a missions program that's sending missionaries, discipling missionaries, developing missionaries, then getting people who are interested in missions onto short-term trips, getting them into like 6-month internships, getting them onto the mission field long-term. So we want to really, really make the mission ministry here something you're going to be very proud of and talk about and be known for, but it takes time. That's why I have it in phase 3. We'll spend a year developing and building these equipping programs for future missionaries. And we want to get to where the missionaries we're supporting out on the field and we're visiting and having trips to are missionaries we sent from our church because they went through our programs and we developed them to go. So that's where we're going to get. That's one of the few areas that I will totally be involved in because I just love that area. That and that doesn't matter what the other one is. So that's a big one for me. All right. Next steps, pray about it. First fruit gift. So that pink envelope. Oh, I said I was going to stop for questions. I'm sorry. Each phase I wanted to stop. Let me give you this, and I'll just take all of them at once. Sorry. So first fruit gift is the pink envelope. If you're here today and you're saying, I want to be one of the first fruits towards this. It's a Bible term of the first fruits given, and I want to give that first check to this. It's between you and God. It's not like I'm going to go and check everyone. It's you're saying, I want to be committed to this. I'm excited about this. I'm ready, and I want to give some gas to the fire that's already going. That's what the pink envelope is for, and this is the meeting for it. It's the first fruits. You put in the check, the $100,000, and then you drop it into one of those brown things. I'm just kidding. It doesn't have to be 100,000. You can go down to 10 if you want. But whatever it is, you put that on there. I will say this, just from a few different things, we already have $40,000 for this. So there's already money in an account ready to go. So the first few things are already rolling, and that does deserve clapping. Can we clap for the first 40? So we just need the rest of the members, and it's going to happen. Tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow, whenever Jennifer gets to it, we'll have the 2020 vision letter go out, and I think I want to change one line, but I'm almost done with it. But I think that's going to go this week, and there'll be a pink envelope in it. I'm not trying to hit you twice with the same envelope. I just know a lot of people aren't here. So that letter goes to everyone, and it kind of gives just a one-pager on what we're trying to do for next year and the excitement for what happened this year. And so asking for an end-of-the-year gift. And so that's the next one. So at some point they bring the pink envelope back, hopefully, and they drop it in saying, this is above and beyond my tithing. I hope you guys know this is above and beyond tithing, because you have to have the normal tithing to run the church. This is that we're going to take a huge step forward with offering. In January or February, we'll have a Commitment Sunday where we'll have a night of prayer and worship and fasting. And then over that weekend, the Sunday morning, make kind of a commitment and have some kind of commitment Sunday where people are committing to this goal with their regular tithing and an offering to the Vision 2022, whatever they want. Again, it's not really about the amount. I just want everybody on board with it. And then we'll start phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.